But let's start from the beginning, because this story has been building for days. Right now, the West Coast is getting absolutely hammered by what meteorologists call an atmospheric river. Think of it as a fire hose of moisture stretching from the Pacific Ocean all the way to California. This moisture conveyor belt has already created chaos. Los Angeles saw rare severe weather yesterday, not something you typically associate with Southern California. The Sierra Nevada mountains are getting buried under feet of snow, with dozens of accidents reported just yesterday alone. But here's where the story gets really interesting. All that Pacific moisture doesn't just disappear after hitting the West Coast. It gets transported over the Rocky Mountains like a weather highway, setting up our double storm scenario. The first storm is already developing across the northern plains as I speak. Saskatchewan is about to get hammered with 2 or 3 inches of snow per hour, the kind of snowfall rates that create whiteout conditions and make travel nearly impossible. This system will bring heavy snow from North Dakota all the way to the upper peninsula of Michigan. We're talking 1–2 feet in some areas, with blizzard conditions possible. Minnesota's northeastern counties are in the bullseye for the heaviest accumulations. Meanwhile, areas farther south experience something completely different. Chicago might see thunderstorms, while Minnesota battles blizzard conditions. It's the kind of temperature and weather contrast that showcases just how dynamic our atmosphere can be. But the first storm is just the warm-up act. The main event comes Thursday with our second system, and this one has meteorologists particularly excited because it's taking a more southern track. Here's the fascinating atmospheric science behind what's happening. Cold air will be streaming down from Canada, while warm, moist air surges north from the Gulf of Mexico. When these two air masses collide over the Ohio Valley, the results can be explosive. The timing looks particularly dangerous for Thursday afternoon. Supercells, those rotating thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes, could begin forming around 1–3 p.m. across central Illinois, southern Indiana, and areas near Louisville and Cincinnati. Now, I need to be clear about something. This tornado threat is highly conditional. We need 3 specific ingredients to come together: enough heat, sufficient moisture, and atmospheric instability. Change any one of these by even a degree or two, and the whole setup could fall apart. But if all the pieces align, we could be looking at a tornado outbreak in February across the Ohio Valley. That's not something you see every year, or even every decade. The dew point temperatures need to reach near 60 degrees for this to really take off. That might not sound like much, but for February in the Midwest, that's incredibly warm and humid air. What makes this setup particularly intriguing is how rare February tornadoes are in these areas. Most years, the ground is covered in snow and temperatures are well below freezing. But this year's unusual warmth, we're talking 30–40 degrees above average in some areas, creates the perfect breeding ground for severe weather. While all this drama unfolds in the Ohio Valley, other areas deal with more traditional winter weather. Nebraska and South Dakota, which have barely seen an inch of snow all winter, might finally get their first significant snowfall of the season. The human impact of these contrasting conditions can't be overstated. Imagine planning your week around typical February weather, only to have to prepare for both blizzards and tornadoes simultaneously, depending on where you live. Looking beyond Thursday, things get even more uncertain. There's a third storm system lurking behind these two, and models can't agree on what it wants to do. The European model shows it as a relatively minor player, but the GFS model paints a much more dramatic picture. If the GFS is right, this third system could bring snow as far south as Arkansas, Oklahoma, and even Nashville. Nothing significant. We're talking coatings to a couple inches at most, but for areas that have seen almost no snow this winter, even that would be noteworthy. The Northeast faces its own interesting situation. While the first 2 storms bring some snow, the weekend into early next week could see more significant accumulations. New England, in particular, looks like it could see substantial snowfall over the next week. Temperature whiplash will be extreme throughout this entire pattern. Record-breaking warmth today and tomorrow gives way to much cooler conditions by Thursday and Friday. Then, an Arctic blast arrives over the weekend, bringing temperatures 20–30 degrees below normal by Monday morning. This Arctic air will reach all the way down to Florida, a reminder that even in our age of climate change, winter still has some tricks up its sleeve. The contrast between today's warmth and next week's cold will be jarring for millions of people. Fire weather concerns add another layer to this complex forecast. Today and tomorrow, dangerous fire conditions exist across the central and southern plains due to high winds and dry air. It's like Mother Nature can't decide whether she wants to bring winter weather or summer-like fire conditions. The bottom line is this: we're about to witness one of the most dynamic and diverse weather weeks of the entire winter. From blizzards to tornadoes, from record heat to Arctic cold, from fire weather to flooding rains, it's all happening within a 7-day period. For weather enthusiasts, this represents a masterclass in atmospheric dynamics. For everyone else, it's a reminder that February can still deliver surprises when you least expect them. Welcome to modern weather, where traditional seasonal patterns get thrown out the window and anything becomes possible. The only predictable thing about this forecast is its complete unpredictability.